I'm so very happy to be here today, and thank you for your time in being with us as well. Something I think is stirring in the nation. Something is changing, and it is about time. I want to first of all acknowledge the Yolngu people and the Gumarch people who are our hosts and with whom we have this special relationship. I want to also acknowledge the extraordinary work of decades of effort in remote Australia to contribute to the story of formation of education in a just society. It is extraordinary, the effort that people have gone to. And so therefore I stand more in acknowledgement of that than in sharing something that is new. The truth is, from the images that you will see on the screen, this is not new. We have recovered an old story and made it new again with the creation of Dhupuma and Dhupuma Baka. Dhupuma College, of course, has its own storied history that concluded in 1980, but its spirit never left this land and its people. And the yearning has been so deep for so long to see it revived. And what an honour for a school a very long way from here to be involved in partnership with Yothi Indi and to create, if you will, another story. So, like all schools, we have our mission and our vision. We are dedicated to seeing children have the best opportunities in this country no matter where they live, no matter what their postcode might be or their socioeconomic background, and especially our First Nation people whose voices have long been silent in this nation, but that is changing. And we want people to be able to learn at home, and especially when they're little. Close the gap before it opens. Let's have no talk of gap. Let's rejoice in people's capacity as who they are. And so my school in Sydney is a long way from here, over 4,000 kilometres away, on the north shore of Sydney, and we enjoy a very beautiful environment. But that is not enough. We talk to our students about thinking about their contribution beyond the Mint Gates, as we refer to it. And so in Australia, we have a large and diverse population. We are Sydney and metropolitan-centric. Many of the stories of our land are told through the lens of city and developed nation. But the truth is that our story is far richer and more diverse than that. And so Barker in Sydney established 2 little schools in New South Wales, and they're going beautifully, as we heard in the introduction. I am so happy today that Georgia Dermish is in the audience. Georgia, can you put your hand up and wave? Where are you, Georgia? There she is. Georgia was one of my first ever girls at Gulkula School, which started in the inner city, the first of its kind that began in 2007. And she graduated from law only recently. So give her a big clap. So daringly, Yothi Indi Foundation was willing to partner with a school a long way from here. Even more daringly, I want to say the Northern Territory government was willing to register a school, not here from the Territory. As a registering authority in Sydney, that broke new ground, and I want to recognise that today. We opened in April of 2021 with the most amazing ceremony. It will be remembered for generations. We celebrated in the right way, in the Yolngu way, in a way of celebrating culture and story, that the Australian curriculum need not be at war with traditional ways of knowing and being. And so our school began. Of course, it takes time to develop a school, as colleagues here involved in education know all too well. And a flash in the pan and a great ceremony is all very well, but the sustained effort over a period of time is what really matters. The celebration of culture and identity and the story that each of those families can bring into our community life becomes an extraordinarily important part learning on country, with families, together, safely, accessing the world from the safe eyes of a cultural understanding that is deep, where culture is strong and not just an add-on. We've thought a lot, with the good care of the teachers who are there and the Yolngu teachers who are doing such an incredible job, of putting together a day structure that works. Broadly speaking, there it is. We begin with a prayer on kindness in both languages, and then we think about our role and our relationships, our connection to country, and the long story of our identity here in this beautiful place, and we create songs about that. We want to then wrap the Australian curriculum into that deeper story of knowledge. And we don't want those two things to be in tension, so the children will work when it is right and it suits them and it suits their community. Occasionally, cultural business will be necessary, and that's something to celebrate and something to enjoy and experience. And a critical part of the whole narrative is, of course, learning on country. And this is where our Yolngu educators in particular play a vital role, as they do all day. They teach us, they take us to new places. We see the landscape differently. As has been shared before, our attendance rate is something that gives us great joy. And I want to therefore say thank you to the children, to all the Garma Kuli and their families who have got behind this vision. They wanted this school. They were kind enough to invite us in partnership to be with them and to share that story. And therefore, each day, they bring the children, or they're satisfied for the children to come, and they are proud that there's a school in their own community in Gulkula, a particularly beautiful part of this country to celebrate. Why would you go somewhere else if you didn't have to? And a critical part too is our relationship with FAFT. And I want to acknowledge FAFT and the mighty work that they do throughout the Northern Territory, and in particular in our homeland communities. We could not do the work that we are doing without a strong relationship with FAFT. Thank you very much to FAFT. As I mentioned, learning on country is an essential part for everybody, from the age of the youngest time, on the knee, through to when you're ready to move on to other places. We see our role as critical in walking gently on country. And we're not finished yet. We are in inadequate facilities. It's an old annex building, essentially two dongas really, one side FAFT and the other side for the school. We're running out of room, and so we're working hard to create a vision for the future and some permanent rooms that can be places where the community can be safe, can feel good, can gather, can pursue cultural and ceremonial interests, can access the best of Australian education right from their own communities. I also want to acknowledge the strong connection that we have with other educators throughout the Territory, and in particular in this part of northeast Arnhem Land. The respect has been really something of beauty. I want to just close by introducing the children themselves. They're in their special Friday shirt. This is the first time that it has ever been worn. I'm not sure that it will stay yellow for long. But here they are. Could you please welcome the Garma Kuli from Dhupuma Baka with their teacher, Mr. Tom, and Miss Laurie. They're incredibly brave to do this. It's a scary thing. I can tell you from personal experience, it's a scary thing to stand in front of you all. Could I also thank our Yolngu educators? Could we bring them out too, our Yolngu educators, without whom none of this would be possible? Look at these amazing people. So at the risk of offending people by omission, Could I please thank Galaroi Unapingu, Denise and Jawa, Brewa, Murphy, Japati and Balu, and the board of Yothu Yindi, who had the bravery and vision to pursue the recovery of Dhupuma Barker into a new reality. Could I thank the Barker College Council also for their courage, David Charles, Wendy King and John Slack Smith, together with other council members. Dhupuma Barker wouldn't be what it is without Tom and Laurie. So Mr. Tom and Miss Laurie, thank you. Janet, Valerie, Lizzie, Mikey, Caroline, Cedric, Nigel, Berry, who drives us around, Leah from FAFT, and Jerusha. Thank you. To Sean and to Denise, amazing leadership. To Maitli and to Therese from YYF. We are in so much in your debt. To Alison and to Martin and to all of the team back at Barker, thank you for your support. Apple Australia, could I give a big shout out to Apple Australia, who help us so much, particularly with making learning on country so relevant and immediate. So thank you, Apple Australia, for that. In her absence, sadly struck down with some COVID, but we've been really greatly assisted by Marina Wangara, who's on the ground here and helping us. But from Gumaj, thank you to Klaus and Mathilde, to Alan and Ella, to Michael Unapingu, to Angie, to the whole Gunyara community. Thank you for welcoming us. It's a rarely said thing, but thank you, Northern Territory Government, for your kindness in allowing this to happen and supporting it, and the Commonwealth Government for allowing us to be funded every day. That's something we don't take for granted. So thank you very much. Big shout out to them. Department of Education, AIS and FAFT especially. Now, that's a signal that I've spoken too long. And I think we'd all agree. So could we please thank the children once again for being with us. Onward to the future. We look up, we look beyond. Thank you very much. Are we singing a song or not? We had a song, but you'll have to come back to the main stage at 6 tonight to listen to their song. It's really worth hearing. Thank you very much again.